Hello? How you doing? I'm glad you're here. It's Gummy. We really are living in the best time in human history. You can pull up your phone, gain new information in video or text formats, order a ride to take to the other side of the city, or have a ride bring you your groceries at your doorstep. You can chat with family members and friends in an instant, no matter where your location is. You are connected with friends you haven't physically seen in years, but thanks to social media, that connection never feels like it's truly gone, or that the connection is stale. Not only is your phone a gateway to all these options to choose from, but you have your TV, and it displays the plethora of options to stream, whether it's the movie that premiered only a month ago in theaters, or all the shows that are related to your favorite. Entertainment is at an easy access. Now, don't get me started on AI. That's rapidly innovating month by month. While many of you may be doom and gloom, AI is going to come take our jobs, AI is going to take over, the technology is genuinely making our lives easier. And it's making our time trying to be productive a bit more efficient. All of this ease of life, all of these brand new tools that are meant to enrich the human experience, you think we kind of feel more enriched due to how many things we have to make our lives easy. So it begs the question, why do we tend to be more miserable? Why does our anxiety seem to be at an all-time high? It seems that with ease, we find convenience more and more. More entertainment, more information, more exposure, and in return, more problems. I've mentioned this in prior videos, but a lot of what happens in our life is out of our control. So for all you control freaks out there, I'm sorry, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Nonetheless, we have an opportunity for control. No matter with all the options and decisions that get thrown our way, we have something to combat them with. Our choices. It's somewhat ironic when you think about it. We have all these options and choices to make. You think it'd be easy for us to decide. But with more options and choices comes more analysis by paralysis, or it's the problem that's simply coined as the paradox of choice. By no means am I claiming that I'm adding any new perspective or adding any new pages to the study on this specific topic. But I feel like this dilemma goes unnoticed, or many people are just unaware of how it affects their day-to-day life. Put yourself in this situation. Whether it's your parents, siblings, friends, significant other, no matter, we've all been in this boat. You're sitting around the house. Maybe it's a weekday evening or a lazy weekend, and someone asks the forsaken question, what do you want to eat? Oh, the list of answers. Oh my goodness, they could go on and on. The main ones being, I don't know, I don't care, you pick. That conversation goes back and forth until someone finally decides to take a stand, and then someone disagrees with the choice. Then the whole debate goes right back to square one. And even when that final decision is made, there are instances where they may be questioning if they made the right decision or not, as if it is life or death as to which restaurant you sat your hungry self down at. I get it, some people may be picky and not like fast food, but for the sake of the argument, why does the group never come around to a decision or one that they are fully confident in when it's said and done? Now, think of a time where you were at a similar crossroads as an individual. It could be what to eat, but also what artists to listen to, what tasks to get done, what to wear, or major moments like choice of job in the future that could come after it. You sit there and ponder to a point where the decision you're trying to make becomes a wall, an immovable force. Thanks to all this thinking you're doing, you stand still and back away from the process and maybe go with the familiar, go with what's easy, what you know, or you don't go forward at all. It's frustrating. It's a way in which you may lose self-confidence. Whatever choice you make, whatever path you choose to go down, you're always thinking, damn, did I make the right one? I could have worn these sneakers instead of the ones I got on today. The burgers at my favorite place are way better than the steak I'm having right now at this new restaurant. I should have been an engineer instead of a teacher, and so on and so forth. It's an endless loop, and it bleeds into the next choices you're forced to make. You think about those times where you kept reminiscing about if you made the right choice. And then you get a mindset where you never trust your gut. You never trust your intuition. Never trust all those experiences that led you to this moment because of the indecisiveness. So going back, how do we control this dilemma? How do we control the paradox of choice? How do we feel better about our choices or decisions? While the options always are going to be prevalent and they're never going to stop, it's important to narrow down the options, to cut the fluff. How do you do that? Well, a super simple and easy answer is to reflect on your values. Easier said than done, I know. But if you got the time, jot down what means most to you. Is it time with your friends and family? Is it time pursuing a new interest or hobby? Is it shaping a new identity? Or simply a desire to change? Wherever your values are, I want you to hold them close. Truly reflect on what it is you want to side with when the day is done. And once you start to feel more comfortable and more aware of these set of values, I suggest using those as your choice-making lenses, so to speak. Whatever gets thrown your way, try to apply your choice-making lenses to block out the noise, cut out the fluff. What it's going to do is cut out the clutter. It's going to narrow down your options to choose from. If it doesn't align with your values, you're more than likely not to consider it as a obvious choice. You're giving yourself tunnel vision, but it's only zoning in on the things that matter most to you and your values. I'm really fascinated with this topic, the paradox of choice, and I'd like to do my own research. I like to watch, I like to listen, I like to read about decision-making processes, and I recently watched a TED Talk on this topic done by Dr. Sheena Iyengar. She's a social psychologist from Stanford, and a lot of her studies go towards fighting this exact thing, how to combat the paradox of choice, paralysis by analysis, or whatever tag you want to give it. And in this TED Talk, she talks about this grocery store she would always visit during her time at Stanford, and the shop was called Draeger's, I believe. Now, this place had kind of a gimmick, and it would be that they would have endless options for almost every product you can imagine in a grocery store. 300 bottles of olive oil, 40 different types of butter, but in this case specifically, she focused on jam, which at the store had, give or take, 350 bottles. She went on to ask one of the managers, how they actually sell goods with this volume of options. And the real deal, the real, shtick of this place was, it was more of a site. It was more of a touristic attraction, more so than a store where you really shop at. And with this context, she decided to set up a little experiment. She and her colleagues set up 2 sample tables inside the store. One with 6 samples of jam, another with 24 samples of jam. And the results were interesting. I'll put the graphic up here. The table of 24 was extremely attractive. As you can see, nearly 60% of shoppers stopped and tried a sample at that table, where you compare it to the 30% that stopped and tried samples at the 6 sample table. Nonetheless, you can see that the table with less options had more sales, meaning that more shoppers went through with the samples and their decision to then buy. Interesting. And it's a simple experiment, but it sparks a lot of thought, and some that I even applied to my own life. Well, if people tend to be more confident with less options, how can I funnel that into my own life? So for example, I have a massive list of books and games I want to get through. And starting out in these hobbies, I would make excuses to move on to the next game or purchase a handful of them on sale. And when it came to books, I would, shop for 4 to 5 at a time because I'd see them on TikTok or YouTube, and then I'd buy them. They'd come to the house, and I feel content at the time. Both of these processes choosing to buy more, choosing more, giving myself more options, led to me not being satisfied as I thought I was. I would start a new game and go, man, this is kind of boring. I'm going to try another one I bought in the sale too. And then the same thing would happen with the next, and so on and so forth. I could never stay consistent. With books, I would always be tempted to put the one I was reading down because it'd be in a lull, as most books do get into a lull. And then I want to try to start another. And with that ease of choosing that other option, I would feel less fulfilled. I wouldn't finish books. So I decided to force myself in this small instance of choice making. It's not life or death. It's not impacting my future by any means, but it was a practice to go back to the use of my choice making lenses. So I really value completion. I value that feeling of, oh, I got it done. That's a nice feeling. I value that feeling. No matter what I'm doing, I always look for that feeling. So how do I get that into my choice making lenses? Well, for my reading hobby, I only buy now 1 to 2 books, and I don't buy any more until those books are read front to back. At first, I felt like I was limiting myself, but now that I've done that, I feel validated. I feel accomplished. I feel a sense of pride when I finish a book, rather than, oh, it's on to the next. And for my gaming hobby, I've made a Google spreadsheet of a specific list of games I want to get through and I want to play, and I only dedicate my time to one story-based game. And with that, I've had more of an enriching experience. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I feel as if I'm completing something. That value of completion is now funneled in my choice making. So I want you to think about how you can apply this to your life. How can you limit the options? And how can you make those choices more fulfilling? Do you set a little more of a strict schedule so your free time doesn't overwhelm you with choices to make? For example, you choose to not scroll or unwind until 2 to 3 chores are done. Or at this time is when I'm playing my video games, or this time is when I'm reading my book or watching my TV show. You could make a list of all the pros and cons, and the choice may get more clear. You may be more confident in the choice, or a choice to not pursue, whatever it may be. So whatever that choice is, do not forget your values. Don't forget who you are. Sure, those values may morph, they might ebb and flow throughout your life, and that's normal. But those choice-making lenses powered by your values will still block all the possible distractions and cut out the noise. Are you going to let all of the options overwhelm you and stop you from chasing what you want in life? Or are you going to take a step, make the choice, use your values to make a decision that starts with confidence and ends with fulfillment?